So I like to start off with fun. So tell me, guys, what do you see?
See both.
What do you see? I can't hear you. What'd you say?
My phone.
You see your phone. Well, you see the screen sharing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you see on the screen there? What is that?
The bunny rabbit.
You see a bunny rabbit?
It's a bunny duck.
Yeah.
The bunny duck.
I see a duck and a bunny rabbit.
A duck and a bunny rabbit.
Yeah. Bunny duck.
Okay, so what did you guys see first? Did you guys see the duck first, or did you guys see the bunny rabbit first?
I saw the duck.
Saw both.
All right, if you saw the duck first, raise your hand.
I saw both.
Got 2 ducks here. If you saw the bunny rabbit first, raise your hand. All right, so we got ducks and bunny. Michael, I don't know if you can see the picture. Can you, bud?
Yeah, I can see it.
What'd you pick first?
The duck.
The duck. All right, so it's 3 and 3. What an even split. Got such a great youth group. All right, so the thing is, our eyes can sometimes play tricks on us. Sometimes we can see what we think is one thing, but it might be another, or it might be both. And so on the next 3 pictures, I've got 2 pictures, including this one, another picture, and then I've got a video. We're going to see what you guys think about these. So what do you guys see here?
See a horse.
A horse? A horse?
Yeah. Horse.
So if my theory is correct, the duck people
A whale.
should see something else, and the horse people should be the bunny people.
Represent bunnies. That's definitely
Is
a
it a
whale.
seal? Is it like a seal? I think it's a seal.
Okay, so
It's some kind of fish.
here's the thing.
Seal.
Do you see a donkey or a seal? That's the 2 things here.
That's what I thought it was, a donkey. Not a horse.
A lot of people said horse.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking of donkey.
you thought it was a donkey, Michael?
Yeah.
Well, who else saw a
Horse.
donkey or a horse first? Jack, did you see a donkey or horse first?
I think I saw a horse.
All right, so a horse first. Ruth said a horse. Mallory, did you see a horse first, or did you see a seal?
Definitely a horse.
Definitely a horse. Caitlin, Kirsten?
I seen a fish. I didn't know what kind of fish it was, but it's a seal now, so I guess the seal.
So if you guys can see my mouse right here. Here's the head.
Yeah.
Body.
Yeah.
Little flippers.
Fins.
Tail.
Yeah, I seen the flippers and the fin, and I thought it was some kind of fish.
But if you look at it the other way, these are eyes, ears,
And a nose.
outline, nose, mouth. So we're going to go to the last one here. This is the ballerina. All right? So
I've seen this one before.
if you guys see the ballerina turning
My
right,
brain.
or if you guys see the ballerina.
I've seen this video before. This is really weird.
Yes, I've seen this too, and I've actually seen this to the point where it like turns one way, and all of a sudden I'm like, "What?" And it's like turning. the other way.
Your brain can
I've done that too.
flip.
All right. So tell me, which way do you see it going first? Is what I want.
A little bit of
Which way-
lag.
Which way is it going? Clockwise or counterclockwise?
Clockwise.
Clockwise.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like frame by frame for me.
Same here.
Which way do you see it, Ruth?
I can make myself switch direction.
You can make yourself switch
Oh
directions.
my gosh, now she's going the other way. Yeah.
See?
The more you watch it, the more you'll realize that your brain is like trying to fight itself, and you're like, but you were
Yeah.
turning that way.
I can make it. I can make it so that it looks like it's doing this instead of doing a full turn. It's going like this.
Can you really?
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. I can't even do that. There's no way. For me, my brain sees it one way and one way only. My brain's all like, yeah, she's spinning clockwise. Okay.
Like, which way is she actually turning, though?
The thing is, she's actually turning both ways.
It's a silhouette,
So
so it could go either way.
the passage that we're talking about today is Matthew 7, 1 through 5, if you're taking notes. But what's funny about it is that is actually, it's spinning both ways, but it's about how your brain perceives it to which way you're thinking it goes. So for left brain people, it spins one way. For right brain people, it spins another. That's why it's very intriguing for me that Ruth says that she can make it just not even full turn. She can just see the foot kind of do this, which means that you have a very balanced brain, which is cool. I do not. Mine is
going to be right-handed instead of left.
my brain is pretty much one track. That's pretty much how it goes, and I don't have any other control over it. But some of us are wired differently. Some of us are wired to think more logically, logistically, stuff like that, while others are more creative and etc. And so the left brain, right brain people, it's always one of those things. For me, I'm very eccentric, outgoing, etc. And so I am considered a left brain. Anyway, we are going to jump right into this sermon, and let's start with, since you guys can all screen share and see, I need a reader. Kirsten opened us in prayer, so she doesn't have to read. Somebody read the passage for me.
I'll read.
All right, go ahead, Caitlin. Nice and loud. Nice and loud.
Can I go? Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when all the time there's a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite! First take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye.
A powerful, powerful statement there by Jesus. Thank you for reading that, Caitlin. I don't exactly know what happened. I think my internet might have blipped on me. Is everybody still there?
I'm good.
Yep.
Glad you guys are all still there. There was just me. So let me re-screen share so you guys can see what's going on. You guys good again?
Yeah. Zoom literally just closed on me.
Yeah, it did that to me too. So, but as long as we're all back, we're going to continue on.
Oof.
Yes, we're all back. Okay. So don't judge or you'll be judged. Seems pretty self-explanatory to me, but we're going to go a little bit deeper into this today. So you think of the Christian standard, so to speak. What happens whenever you call someone out on something? Now, this can be anything, but if you call someone out on something, what happens?
Who hasn't done that?
Yeah, who hasn't done that? For real, Joseph.
I heard you.
But honestly, like, what? No, I can hear you, Joseph.
You lied to me. You said you can't hear me.
I'm
Michael
sorry.
doesn't know how to mute his phone. It's fine. Moving on. So, but honestly, whatever happens when you call someone out, what happens? Somebody.
You get called out.
You get called out. Exactly. It's like.
Should know from experience.
What did you say?
I said I should know from experience.
You should know from experience. Ooh, Ruth. Ruth's the call out queen over here. She's like, your own mess. And then they're like, what? Usually it can start confrontations, arguments, etc.
I will volunteer someone, and then I will end up doing it.
Oof. Yeah, that's what happens. I'm even thinking go a step further. What if I said, hey, Jack, you shouldn't be disrespecting your mother like that. And I'm calling Jack. I'm like, today's Mother's Day of all days. Dude, come on. And then as soon as I do that, everybody is going to be doing what?
Calling you out.
Yeah, they're going to be looking at me and they're like, well, let's see if Pastor Will disrespects his mom. Because how in the world can he say not to disrespect my mom if he's doing it to his own, right? Whenever you point something out, everybody is quick to see if you end up falling on that same thing. And so for Christians, if we say, hey, there's a standard to live by, you know, we need to not lie, we need to not cheat, we need to not steal, we need, you know, all these things that we say. We need to read our Bibles, we need to pray and go to church, we need to worship God. Whatever the list is, if you see someone and you're, you know, just like, hey, you need to, you know, change that. And then they look at you and they're like, you haven't changed. Why should I? Now you have no argument. Now you have really no basis even, because if you're saying do this, but you're not, they're not going to listen to you.
Pot calling the kettle black.
Uh-huh.
There's a saying that says pot calling the kettle black, and they were both black.
Yeah, pot calling the kettle black. Classic. So example, everybody, I've heard multiple people in here say, I'm not really big into tomatoes. Anybody here say, I don't like tomatoes?
I love tomatoes.
I hate tomatoes.
I hate tomatoes so much.
Jack hates tomatoes. All right, this is good. Jack, you say you hate tomatoes.
Yes.
You eat pizza.
Yes.
Okay, what's
Oh,
over
okay.
pizza?
Okay, I get it. I like the pizza sauce.
Like when people do that to me. They do it all the time, but it's different. Like,
Oh,
I don't like tomatoes because I don't like the texture.
instantly they will say, well, that's different. I'm talking about raw tomatoes. Excellent, Kirsten, you brought up my next point. That's like saying I don't like potatoes, but I eat French fries.
I don't like French fries that
Oh,
much.
I just don't like raw potatoes.
I don't like French
Who
fries.
likes raw potatoes though? That's whack.
Oh my God. You guys are totally missing the
I don't
point.
like potatoes in general.
It's a potato. So the point
I
is,
do like onion rings, but not like onions.
okay, on a spiritual note, okay? If you say you're a follower of God, to stay away from sin, people will be way more observant of your life because of the statement that you said. So if you say, I hate it when, you know, I hate it when my friends lie, you know? If you say something like that, and then you're like, well, I wasn't really lying, I just wasn't telling the whole truth. What's that? You know, that's like saying I don't like raw potatoes, but I eat French fries. You know, there is
These
no
are cooked potatoes.
there is no in between, guys. There is no left or right. There is a standard that has to be met, right? And if we choose to put ourselves on that standard, then everybody's going to be looking at us. So what's the key? Well, Pastor Will, I'm just not going to put myself on that standard. Well, then are you really doing everything that God wants you to do?
Don't call people out.
Well, maybe you shouldn't call people out unless you are taken care of. The passage here said to not call out the sawdust in your brother's eye without first removing the plank from your own. This whole passage is about self. It's about fixing yourself before you try to fix others. I want to say there's nothing wrong with putting yourself at that standard. We are called to be a light in the world. We're called to be in the world, but not of the world. Okay? We are called to, out of love, correct brothers and sisters in Christ. It is my job as a Christian to tell you when you're doing something wrong. Now, this is not judging. This is iron sharpening iron. Totally different, okay? Judging is when you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you would do something like that. Because as soon as you do something like that, they're going to be like, well, yeah, sure, you did it. And there's this instant bickering. But if it's out of love, it's different. If I said, hey, I see that you're struggling with this. It's okay. I struggle with things like that too, but I want us to get better on it. Like, let's work together on it. Or I used to battle with that too. Now I found freedom from it. Let me help you also find freedom. When you come across something like that, now the person isn't going to be as, I will say, majority of the time, the people will not come across as mean or as harsh with that because they know that you're saying it out of love. If we call someone out on their sin, that's good because we don't want anybody to be stuck in sin. But we need to choose our words carefully. Correction and judging are very different. If you're taking notes, correction and judging are different. They are not equal, okay? I'm saying we do struggle in many ways. But if we are nitpicking on another person's sin or struggles, then obviously we're not dealing with our own lives first. If we're so concerned about fixing everybody else, we're totally going to forget ourselves. And we're totally going to forget the relationship that we have with God. I am at a huge fault for this. As a youth pastor, I see my students, I see what they're struggling with, and I'm just like, man, I really want to help the kids. I really want to help you guys succeed and do great. But if I'm not careful, Pastor Will here is going to have his problems that he's just not going to take time to care about. And if I don't, how am I ever supposed to help you guys if I can't see my own problems? It's in my eye. Have you ever gotten something in your eye? Anybody? Anybody ever got something in your eye? What's it like when you have something in your eye?
It kind of hurts.
What'd you say?
It kind of hurts.
Painful.
Painful? It hurts? It's annoying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It like blocks your vision.
I
You're
lost
like,
Blocks your vision?
yeah.
Now, what were you doing right there, Kirsten?
Trying to get it, you gotta like turn. You gotta like put your finger in your eye, and then it hurts even more.
You're messing with it, right?
Yeah.
Because you said you got to get it out.
Right.
So literally, when you get something in your eye, everything else stops. You're just like, no. Everybody just pause life. I got to get this out.
Yeah.
And everything else doesn't matter except getting whatever's in your eye out of your eye. Can we all agree on that? It's frustrating.
Yeah.
And so how in the world did this person have a plank in their eye and is like, hey, you got a little piece of sawdust right there. Let me get that for you. Yet is unconcerned with what's going on here. How's that possible? If it's in your eye, you notice it, right? You would notice that there's something in your eye, even now everybody's like wanting to wipe their eyes. Like, oh, nothing's in my eye, nothing's in my eye. For the longest time, it took me a while to get these contacts in because I was unused to putting things into my eyes. And I was just like, I gotta put a contact in my eye. But after a while, what happens? For anybody who's ever worn contacts, this is what happens. You get used to it. You look around and it becomes a part of your eye. Think about this, guys. Whenever we allow sin to get comfortable in a position it's not supposed to be in, it'll eventually become a part of who you are. And you won't even notice. I'm not saying contacts are the devil. I'm just saying you gotta be careful, because what some people will consider sin, others will be like, no, it's fine. And it's because they don't even understand that it's been in their eye for so long, they don't even know how to get it out. When this passage talks about the man who sees a piece of sawdust in another person's eye, they have a plank in their own, I think personally that the scripture is stating that it's because they can't notice, they don't notice the plank anymore. Maybe no one called them out on their sin. Maybe no one corrected them out of love. And now it's become so normal that it's just there. How in the world are we supposed to help others as Christians? You think of yourselves, you are in a very pivotal age, all of you guys. From middle school to high school, it is the craziest time ever. There are so many decisions you have to make. There's so much pressure placed on you guys. Standards that you have to meet. Obligations. Everything else. This whole growing up phase that they smash into 8 years of your life. And, you know, I think that a lot of the time we will take things as they come, and the things that are really annoying will flick out. But other things are just like, it's fine, I'll just deal with it. And after a while, it just becomes normal. So maybe that first time you heard a bad joke with all your friends, you were like, oh, that's not right. I should say something about that to them. But then what will they say about me? I want to stay apart, so I'm just going to deal with it. And then after a while, they say more and more, and it doesn't affect you anymore because you've just let it sit there. You never cleaned it out. So now you can't even correct them. You know, now if I went and I said, hey, you shouldn't be saying those jokes, they'd look at me and say, dude, you've been saying those jokes for years. And now you're telling me that I shouldn't? Our influence is ruined. Hey, you know, Bible says that we shouldn't, you could pick a plethora of different things. We shouldn't gossip. We shouldn't, you know, have relations with one another, guy and girl. We shouldn't do that before marriage. We shouldn't be cheating on exams and quizzes and tests, even though, you know, it's work from home. We shouldn't be, you know, and whatever you guys are saying, whatever you guys are sharing, make sure that you know whatever you put out there, people are going to look straight back at you and go, well, are you following that? Be honest. You know, I'm trying my best to. I've failed a lot in the past, but I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to change. A lot of people say, I'll believe it when I see it. But, you know, that's why if we have a plank in our own eye that we've let sit there for so long, we need Jesus to wash it clean. We really need Jesus to come through and just, Lord, make my eyes clean again. Let me see what's been staying in there for too long. Let me see what I've been doing wrong. Don't choose to ignore the plank in your own eye. Don't choose to ignore it. Get it out. Because as soon as we say it's fine and ignore it, the more that it's going to become part of who you are. And people will see that. Trust me, people will see, wow, you're different. That used to bother you and now it doesn't. Why? For me, when I was in high school, it was language. I was never really one for, you know, cussing or anything like that when I first came to high school. But the more I heard it every day through the hallways, through the classroom, all my friends that I hung out with, they're always, you know, saying cuss words or dropping suggestive languages. Now it became a part of me and it didn't bother me. And I even started to say those words. And man, did I ever get a spanking by my mom when she heard me cuss. Boy, oh boy, let me tell you, that was a bad day. Shout out to all you moms out there. Happy Mother's Day. We're glad that you're following with us too. But man, it's like one of those things that I'm just like, I've let that become so much a part of me that I don't even care who I'm saying it around. I didn't even care that I said something bad to my own parents. What kind of Christian influence am I going to have now? Because I chose to ignore it. I know none of you have kids yet, thank the Lord. But as parents, let me tell you, it's tough when you do something and your kids pick up on it and you're like, man, I really wish that they didn't hear that. I really wish that they didn't see that. You know, I know this is Mother's Day and I think back on the things that my mom did that were so great. And I think about all the good things that she's instructed me and taught me. But I also have seen some bad things. I've also seen some things from my mom that I've picked up on. My mom has problems with being depressed at times, and she's hard on herself, even when she doesn't have to be. And that's why you see your youth pastor here hard on himself at times. Sometimes I can get down and I have to make sure to keep a positive attitude. There are things that we pick up on. Make sure that you're careful what you are passing on to your siblings. I know, Jack, you have a younger brother.
Yep.
Ruth, you have brothers.
3 younger siblings.
3 younger siblings.
And then
Mallory,
siblings.
I technically consider your brother a younger brother. 'Cause who came out first? Did you come out first? Yeah. So, I mean, you have a younger brother too, let's be honest. Kirsten, you have a younger brother. Caitlin, you're the only one with an older brother. That's still well,
I have like
two.
2
But
brothers.
all the same, you guys, like, you have people that you have influence with who are looking up to you. Just take the kids in the children's group. They look at you guys like all-stars. Seriously, they're like, youth is so cool. I'm serious. I can't even tell you how many times I've talked to Lily Ward, and she's just like, I can't wait to be in youth. I can't wait to be in youth. I can't wait to be in youth. And why? It's because we're so cool in her eyes. And then she's going to get into youth and be like, man, is this really it? Or did we miss something? I don't want them to miss anything.
What I did when my brothers were in youth and I wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys get to earn money, basically. They do events where you can win money. It's crazy.
So the last part is help yourself so you can help others. If you can't see yourself, then how can you actually help anybody? Turn this on you, okay? Help yourself so you can help others. Our goal is to spread the gospel. Our goal is to be a light into the world. We've all known this. Last week we talked about salt and light and our calling and what we're supposed to be. But how can we help anybody if we can't first clear out the own sin in our lives? If we can't, it's going to just block our vision. We can't become distracted and even with the best intentions help out someone else. So, an analogy. We're going to do this back when we get to church because it's very hard to do it from your homes. But what you do is you take a pen, all right? If you guys have a pen, you can try to do this if you want. You take a pen.
Have to be a pen.
All right, take a pen and you take a piece of paper, all right? This is what you do. You take the pen, you put the piece of paper on a table, you cover your left eye, all right? And you make a dot, okay? Now, when I say make a dot, I mean cover your left eye and go straight down and make a dot, okay? Make a dot visible, right? And now, cover your right eye and try as close as you can to hit that dot. With your other eye closed, now hit the dot.
You covered your right eye with your right hand or your left hand?
You hold the pen in your right hand the whole time.
Okay.
So you cover your left eye, make a dot. Cover your right eye, make a dot. And you're trying to hit the dot right on the same spot.
Can I do it in my left hand?
Yeah, if you're left-handed, do it left-handed. But the point is, it is so difficult to hit the same spot that you just hit twice.
Oh, that is weird.
And you're looking at your dots and you're like, oh, that's kind of far. Now, some people, they go really slow. They're like, I can hit this. And they're like adjusting and moving. I'm saying like, boom, boom. And you just hit it. Probably not.
Missed like 4 times.
I missed like 4 times. And it's difficult, but it's difficult because we can't see. We can't even see. Now Jack's like, man, I gotta try this. It's difficult because we can't see where we're going.
Oh,
We can't see, even with our best intentions.
Ooh, that was pretty good.
Even with our best intentions, we can't hit that again, okay? And it's because it's very hard to see clearly when our vision is blurry, okay? All right.
Not one of them hit it.
Enough with the pens and paper. All right. So on to the challenge, okay? The challenge this week for you guys is to examine yourselves. Make sure you don't have anything blocking your vision. Because if you have a friend who has a speck in their eye, you want to be able to help them. Here's the thing. This is going to be difficult for you guys because some things that are blocking your vision you don't know are there. It's difficult for me, okay? You have to sacrifice time and pray and really ask God, what's going on? What am I missing? Because everything in my life looks good. Everything looks clear. Has it become so impacted in your life that you no longer see it as bad? Has it become so ingrained as a part of who you are that you no longer see it as sin? That's really something you guys are going to have to examine yourselves. The only way that you'll truly be able to help them is if you're seeing clearly yourself. Well, I didn't think that was sin. Well, did you feel that inside when you first got convicted and now you're like, it's normal? Whatever happened to sin being repulsive, where we're just like, I know that's wrong. I can't do that. Murder is wrong. And so you guys instantly are like, of course, I would never murder anybody. That's wrong. But for the person who's killed 10 people, they're probably like, murder's murder.
Oh yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
You got to think about that. For us, we're like, how in the world can you say murder's murder? But they've let it become a part of who they are. Maybe you're like, well, gossip's wrong. But then you share one thing with one person and another and another. And you're like, we're just talking. I'm not even making anybody upset. They don't even have to know. Trust me, they always find out. Don't even go there, guys. Go back, examine your lives, and find out what God's really trying to remove.